Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how you can download and install Visual Studio Code on your Windows 10 operating system. So let's get started. So to start with, just open your favorite browser and search for Visual Studio Code, and the first link which will appear here will be from code.visualstudio.com. So we are going to click on this link, and once this website is open, straight away you will be able to see this green download button for Windows. So we are going to just click on this green button, which is going to download this executable file, and this executable file is around 50 megabytes. So I'm going to wait for the download to complete. So now this executable file is downloaded, so I'm going to just click on this file and minimize the browser. And first of all, I'm going to click on this run button, and then I'm going to just agree with the license terms and conditions and click on next button. And this will be the location where Visual Studio Code will be installed on your operating system. So if you don't have the good reason to change it, just click on the next button. Now on the next window, if you don't want to create the start menu folder, then you can just check this checkbox, but I'm going to just leave it unchecked and then click on next. And here are some options which you can choose. So if you want to create the desktop icon, just click this option, and then there are some other options also which I'm going to just check all the options, and then I'm going to click on the next button and then click on the install button. Now Visual Studio Code will take few seconds to install, so I will wait for the installation to complete. And now as you can see, the Visual Studio Code setup has been finished. And if you want to launch Visual Studio Code after it's installed, you can just leave this checkbox checked and then click on finish, which is going to launch Visual Studio Code. And also you can see this Visual Studio icon on the desktop also, so you can just click on this icon any time and then open your Visual Studio Code. So you can see Visual Studio Code is now open. Now as you can see here on the left hand side of this editor, you have some icons. So this icon, the first icon, is called Explorer, and when you click on the Explorer, it's going to open this kind of menu here where you can open your folders or files or anything. So here Visual Studio Code works with the folders. You don't have projects but the folders, because it's normally editor. So if you want to open any folder, you can just click on open the folder and then open the folder which you want to open. So let's say I want to create a new folder here, and let's say this folder will be named as work, and then I'm going to just open this work folder using Visual Studio Code, and you can see it's easily opened using Visual Studio Code. If you want to create a new file, you can just click on this option or on the file option and then click on the new file option. Now if you want to search into your files, then you can use this search button also. So let me create a test file. So test dot, let's say we want to create a Python script. So I'm going to just create a test.py file, and straight away when you open any file which is related to some programming language and Visual Studio Code is going to detect it, you can see a Python extension is recommended for this type. So if you want to install the Python extension, then you can just click on the Python extension, and it's going to provide you the support for the Python extension. So I was talking about the search. So if you want to search in the file, so for example, I'm going to just write print hello world, and then just press Ctrl S to save your content. So you can press Ctrl F to find your stuff inside the current file. So for example, I just want to find out the print statement, so just type print and you can see it's highlighted. Or if you want to search in the whole folder, then you can click on this option and it's going to search for your keyword in the whole folder in which you are working in. Now the third option here is for the version control. So if you want to use any version control, for example Git, Visual Studio Code has a very good integration with Git. So this button is for that. Now the next button is for debugging. So let's say you want to debug your Python script, you can click on this option and debug it. And the next button here is for the extensions. So here when you click on the extensions, you can search for many extensions which are given by the Visual Studio community. So you can see popular extensions are Python extension, C++, ESLint. So there are many extensions here. Also you can search your extensions from here. So let's say you want to just search the extensions for Python. So you can just search for Python and it's going to recommend you these extensions which you can use to develop your Python script. If you want to search for Java, just search for Java and it's going to give you all the extensions related to Java. So this is how you can use Visual Studio Code. Now let me tell you one last thing before I end this video. So for example, you want to open your Visual Studio Code using the command line. So you can just right click on your Windows icon and I'm going to open the command line. And if you want to open your Visual Studio Code using the command line, you can just write code here and then press enter and it's going to open Visual Studio Code using the command line. Now if you want to open your Visual Studio Code, let's say this is our project, right? So I'm going to right click and I can see it in the Explorer, which is the Windows Explorer, which is at this place. So I can just close it once again and then cd into this folder. So it's cd and the path in which I want to go. And once you are in that path from where you want to open your Visual Studio Code, you can also write code and then this dot, which means to open your Visual Studio Code in this directory, in the current directory. So once you provide this command, this is also going to open the same folder, which is the work folder in the Visual Studio Code, right? So these are some small simple tricks and tips by which you can use Visual Studio Code efficiently. Now the last tip I want to give here is using the terminal inside your Visual Studio Code. So you don't even need this Windows terminal from here. You can just press Ctrl+Shift+P. So just press Ctrl+Shift+P and then just write toggle integrated terminal. And the first option here will be this option which says toggle integrated terminal. So this is going to open the terminal in the current folder inside your Visual Studio Code. So let me maximize this here and you can see the terminal is open inside your Visual Studio Code. So for example, I want to execute my Python script. So I'm going to just say Python and then the test.python script and then press enter, which is going to execute this script and show me the result, which is hello world. So how easy it is, right? So this is how you can use the terminal inside Visual Studio Code. So that's it for this video. I hope you have enjoyed this video and I'm going to see you in the next video.